Alex Garland's 2014 sci-fi thriller Ex Machina follows a coding engineer named Caleb, played by Donald Gleason, an employee of the search engine Blue Book, who wins a chance to work with the company's owner, Nathan, played by Oscar Isaac, on a secret project. Once he arrives at Nathan's research facility/home, he discovers that he has been chosen to perform a Turing test on Nathan's advanced AI, a female-presenting robot named Ava, played by Alicia Vikander. The film demonstrates the familiar opposing themes of excitement about AI as the next step in evolution.
The arrival of strong artificial intelligence has been inevitable for decades. The variable was when, not if, so I don't see Ava as a decision, just an evolution, a singularity.
And the fear of humanity being left behind as these machines surpass us, with the film framing this technology as both necessary and terrifying, often comparing it to the atomic bomb.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. That's what Oppenheimer said after he made the atomic bomb.
Yeah, I know what it is, dude.
The good deeds a man has done before defend him. The good deeds a man has done before.
AI is everywhere, and despite my feelings towards it, it's not going anywhere. However, as Ruha Benjamin states, whenever we hear the promises of tech being extoled, our antennas should pop up to the question of what all the hype of better, faster, fairer might be hiding and making us ignore. Therefore, it seems the best we can do is be aware of the potentially harmful effects of AI. I will do this by analyzing both Ex Machina and a film with similar themes from this year, Drew Hancock's film Companion. Most of the effects of AI are unsurprisingly things humans are already doing just fine, with AI working to simply speed things up. And what I'd like to discuss today is no different. In order to train large language model systems like ChatGPT, these systems require vast amounts of knowledge that is collected from the internet as well as users engaging with the system.
570 gigabytes of text data across books, web text, Wikipedia articles, and other pieces of writing on the internet. By the way, for context, that's 300 billion words. On top of that, it's not just your conversations with ChatGPT that are going to be ingested and used for future versions. It's all of the other 100 million weekly active users' conversations.
This is similar to Ava's programming, as explained by Nathan.
You hacked the world's cell phones?
Yeah, and all the manufacturers knew I was doing it too. But they couldn't accuse me without admitting they were doing it themselves.
This is your hardware?
Wetware.
And the software?
Well, I'm sure you can guess.
Blue Book.
It was the weird thing about search engines. It was like striking oil in a world that hadn't invented internal combustion. Too much raw material. Nobody knew what to do with it. You see, my competitors, they were fixated on sucking it up and monetizing via shopping and social media. They thought that search engines were a map of what people were thinking, but actually they were a map of how people were thinking. Impulse, response, fluid, imperfect, patterned, chaotic.
And similar to the AI robot and companion Iris and her recording capabilities.
Everything a companion sees and hears is recorded. It's all covered in the user agreement. You did read the user agreement, right?
Yeah.
This is first and foremost a surveillance issue. Nathan's search engine Blue Book represents both Facebook and Google. As Nathan explains, these companies collect data from users to better understand what they're thinking. Professor Ruha Benjamin describes this as unsupervised deep learning. This form of deep learning is used to increase the chance that you'll click. Mark Zuckerberg describes this deep learning as the theory of the mind. How do we model in machines what the human users are interested in and are going to do? However, the question we should be focusing on, according to Benjamin, is there only one theory of the mind, and whose mind is it modeled on?
Nice job, team.
The data fed to the machines inform the system's understanding, which then it uses to answer future prompts or show you content related to what you are interested in. It is important to remember that the machine is not giving you a correct answer. Rather, it is using its predictive abilities to give you the most likely answer or content you most want to see, based on the data it has been trained on. Data that Ruha Benjamin explains reflects deeply ingrained cultural prejudices and structural hierarchies. Herein lies the issue. Let's say I asked ChatGPT, who invented action painting? Which I did. It's the only time I used ChatGPT for this assignment. It might say Jackson Pollock, which it did. However, this is incorrect.
Though Pollock became famous for this method,
Ukrainian-born artist Janet Sobel had experimented with similar techniques years earlier. Her 1945 painting Milky Way predates Pollock's all-over drip painting by 2 years, and even Pollock acknowledged her influence. Despite this, Sobel's contributions were often overshadowed as critics like Greenberg dismissed her as a primitive artist, reflecting the biases of the time.
We see this bias demonstrated in the film, with Nathan's Pollock painting being admired for its genius, while Ava's is dismissed.
And go where it wanted. Not deliberate, not random, someplace in between. They called it automatic art.
What do you think?
What's it a drawing of?
Don't you know?
No.
I thought you would tell me.
Don't you know?
I do drawings every day, but I never know what they're of.
You're not trying to sketch something specific? Like an object or a person? Maybe you could try.
To be fair, it's not that ChatGPT is wrong exactly. It's doing what it was trained to do, which is give you the most likely answer for the prompt you've put in. So action painting is more often associated with Jackson Pollock, despite it not being actually invented by Jackson Pollock. It's not wrong exactly, as much as it's demonstrating human bias. This is absolutely an issue that has already existed in society prior to ChatGPT and these algorithms. As political scientist Virginia Eubank states, automated decisions are not magically fairer than their human counterparts.
Please, of course you were programmed.
Implicit biases, the attitude or internalized stereotypes that unconsciously affect our perceptions, actions, and decisions. These unconscious biases often affect behavior that leads to unequal treatment of people based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, disability, health status, and other characteristics. In Ex Machina, this is most clearly seen through the character of Kyoko. Played by Japanese-British actress Sonia Mizuno, Kyoko is Nathan's housekeeper / on-retainer sex worker. Nathan's treatment of her is awful and reflects his misogynistic tendencies seen throughout the film.
She's some alarm clock, huh? Gets you right up in the morning. Hey, Kyoko. Go.
Most importantly, however, to the audience and to Caleb, she is a human being. It isn't until an hour into the movie that we, the audience, with Caleb, officially learn Kyoko is a robot, meaning he watched how she was treated by Nathan and said nothing. He was clearly uncomfortable but did not intervene. Even after Kyoko wordlessly communicates with him by peeling back her skin and showing she is a robot, Caleb remains focused solely on Ava, whom he sees as human due to his perceived romantic connection with her. This exact dynamic plays out in Companion, where the protagonist Iris is not revealed to be a robot until 24 minutes into the movie. Her mistreatment is accepted by the audience as normal for a human, and the character of Eli is fine with killing her despite his love of his own robot.
Wake up. Hey, baby. Hey. We're going robot hunting.
Seeing Iris as only a machine, and his robot as human, through their romantic connection.
This isn't personal, Iris. You know I'm an ally group. But this is a lot of fucking
Every human involved in both these films dies due to their bias. In Companion, Josh's bias leads him to assume the Russian Sergei is a villain.
To be clear, I never told you what he did. You just assumed he was in the mafia and I didn't correct you.
As well as assuming he is in control, he treats everyone as though they are subservient to him. Nathan similarly assumes that he is in control, smarter than Caleb, more powerful than Kyoko and Ava. Finally, Caleb assumes he is the good guy hero, saving the damsel Ava. The bias data that these machines are learning and regurgitating come from our own human bias and will create an uncontrollable echo chamber, leading to a bleak outcome. Like the characters in both these films, their unchecked bias is their hubris. It's what leads to their deaths. So how do we avoid falling into this trap?
Come on, Caleb!
Caleb walked into a facility that was completely controlled by Nathan's programming, with Nathan stating,
Now, it's simple enough. It opens some doors and it doesn't open others. And that just makes everything easy for you, right?
despite Caleb's reasonable unease at signing the contract.
I think I need a lawyer.
It's standard.
It doesn't feel very standard.
Okay, it's not standard.
He signs anyways. When the power outages start and he realizes he is trapped, he is dismissed by Nathan.
If it happens again, relax, okay?
This is similar to Companion, when Josh admits that his robot companion Iris has access to all of his passwords.
I mean, she knows everything about me.
The loss of control came well before the violent end. As is stated in Libuy and Noble's chapter, currently companies like Google and Facebook are attempting to redress the growing distrust in their commercial platforms and automated systems through public relations campaigns and promotional material about their efforts to be more ethical, fair, and transparent in their uses and applications of big data. However, the problem with this is they're often leaving and ignoring notions of intersectional power relations out of their ethical imaginaries and frameworks. At their best, they obfuscate, and at their worst, they ignore. As Benjamin states, detachment in the face of history ensures its ongoing codification. So, while implicit bias is already an issue that is coded within AI's human parents, the first step is including and prioritizing the interrogation of these biases to ensure they are not further codified, or, as it is explained by Libuy and Noble, using an intersectional and structural power analysis that foreground issues of race and racism, gender, sexism and patriarchy, and class labor, surveillance, and exploitation. And this starts from who is at the table, who is creating the technology, and who is framing the goals and values of AI. An approach that is solely crafted, led, and evangelized by those in powerful positions around the world is bound to fail. Or, in the words of the Google representative interviewed by Benjamin, we, the programmers, need to stop the machine from behaving like a jerk. Once again, we find that this seems to be an answer for humans as well. In order to continue as a species and not be left behind, we need to stop people from behaving like jerks. Though it is easier said than done, the inundation of AI technologies threatens to speed up the process. In Lisa Meinecke and Laura Voss's work, they state, a fictional robot is rarely just a robot. It is also a narrative canvas for the projections of the other, a focal point to negotiate philosophical and ethical questions. In each film, we see mistreatment of the robots, the projection of the other, and in each film, we watch as the robot kills and escapes. Through their themes, these films demonstrate the danger of being killed for being human is not an AI invention. Rather, it is what we risk teaching these systems if we do not prioritize the deconstruction of our own bias systems.
Nice job, team.
Thanks.
I'd rather have a paper doll to call my own than have a fickle-minded real-life